Hey, what up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. However, we are in the off season, and not only are we in the off season right now, we are probably on one of the biggest days in this franchise history thus far. Yes, the Texans have finally got rid of Deshaun Watson, if you let the fans tell it. Friday, Texans traded Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for a bunch of draft capital, which mainly included 3 first-round picks. So this ended a year long saga of just Watson requesting a trade after being disgruntled with the front office and ownership, and how they handled his role or his input within the franchise and everything. But in addition to that, the team and the fans also had to endure. These sexual assault allegations that were levied against them, roughly 22 cases that were set against them that Watson found himself involved in. So pretty much that the latter is what kind of slowed down. Finding a trade partner for him. There was teams. Probably the list was probably a mile long, but we've only there's probably just quite a big it was quite a big list on what was publicly reported. Teams such as the Eagles, they were definitely one of the first ones out there. The Miami Dolphins, definitely one of the more frequent names that popped up on the list, and as well as the Carolina Panthers. So once none of those deals went through, throughout it, even at the trade deadline last year, then things revved back up. Last Friday, it was found out that Watson wasn't going to be charged as a criminal or indicted in any of the cases. So now they're all civil suits. So now it kind of made his legal, now that his legal situation was made a little bit more clear. He was able to kind of meet with teams and kind of get this process going along, which landed him in Cleveland of all places. So I just want to talk about that. I want to talk about pretty much a couple of things regarding this trade overall, this whole situation. But I'll start off with the teams that were involved. So the Cleveland Browns, to me, well, probably to everybody that isn't a reporter or isn't locked in with the Houston or Cleveland organizations, they were definitely a surprise. So, this week it was revealed that after after his legal situation got cleared up, Watson met with 4 teams. They were all announced as well. So it was announced that the Saints flew into Houston to meet with him. In addition to the Falcons, the Panthers, they tried to rekindle things and get back into the trade talks, and also the Cleveland Browns. So with the Cleveland Browns, it was a little bit of it was a little bit of sticky situation for them, because they have Baker Mayfield, and there's been a lot of talk about Baker Mayfield over in that particular in Cleveland's on Cleveland's side of things, about whether or not he's going to be the future of the franchise. That has come into question the last couple of years, but especially this season, after the whole Odell controversy and all these other things that went on in the off season. But that's a whole other thing that Cleveland has to deal with. So, but just them being revealed to as one of the teams to meet with Deshaun Watson, it did kind of throw a wrench in certain things over there. And so, um, it did it forced Baker to request a trade and all this other stuff. And so despite all that, while that was going on, it was also being revealed that the Browns were not one of the 2 finalists to land Deshaun Watson. So I believe it was yesterday, it was revealed that it was coming down to the Saints and the Falcons. Panthers and Browns got eliminated. And so to me, I'm thinking, like, if if Watson is really serious about, what I'm saying, getting a championship, he probably should go to the Saints. You know what I'm saying? They have a solid team. What I'm saying, compared to the Falcons. Um, Michael Thomas might be coming back. Alvin Kamara, he's, what I'm saying, he's over there. They have a terrific defense, which is gonna, and the head coach is, the defensive coordinator. So, what I'm saying, is I think it's really gonna be something where, like, they're really, is really, they're really going to be a lot more competitive, than expected. So I think a high level quarterback like Watson going over there would definitely put them over the top, and bring them back to where they used to be. I know they have. Not sure if they're what they're going to do with Jameis Winston, because I think he was on a 1 year deal, or he finished out the last year of his contract, and he ended and unfortunately ended his season with a knee injury. So, he's might be still rehabbing with that, might not be all the way back. But bringing in a quarterback like Watson is kind of going to solidify that. That's Watson's spot. So yeah, compared to the Falcons, Saints had the better roster. Um, you know, uh, Falcons they got Kyle Pitts. you know, what I'm saying? And they got, a couple of good players on defense. Calvin Ridley's done for the season after his whole gambling incident. So, bottom line is Saints. I thought that would be a strong team to kind of take Watson. However, the thing that really the the thing that what seems to have been the deciding factor for landing Watson was this 5 year, $230 million contract that the Browns have offered him. So this new deal they gave him is fully guaranteed, the largest guaranteed contract in the NFL. So that pretty much has to be like the deciding factor for that, because they pretty much, I mean, they cut Jarvis Landry. Yeah, Cleveland cut Jarvis Landry. Apparently, they cut Austin Hooper. Odell's not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so they do have Nick Chubb. They do have Kareem Hunt. So they do have a solid running game. And you got a quarterback that really doesn't need a running game to succeed. So it'll just be kind of a bonus for him. Um, so yeah, and they brought in Amari Cooper. So Amari Cooper's even though things didn't work out, ended. I don't think things ended well in Dallas for him, but you know what I'm saying? Like he still can ball out. He can still be a primary receiver. So um, definitely the we can it's safe to say the money just kind of brought him in, and however that goes, it goes. So that's pretty much the only logical explanation that would have him yeah, that would have him land over there in particular. So um fans reaction is crazy. So when Watson first requested this trade, obviously it took everybody by surprise. I mean, he requested this like soon after he had signed a huge contract extension. You know what I'm saying? And so now at the end of one season or whatever, like he's already ready to go after, what I'm saying, his first, I would say this is his first full down season. His rookie season, we didn't make the playoffs, but he was hurt. He was still learning. So I don't know if you really count that too much. But um yeah, 2020 was like, the year where like, he was healthy, but everything was just pretty much in turmoil. And despite all that, he still played good. He was still setting records and everything, putting up high passing yard, throwing for high passing yards and all this stuff. So I think what I'm saying, it's just he winning wise, he hit some bumps in the road. You know what I'm saying, and it's 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 tough. For somebody that's coming from like a program where they're used to winning, all the damn time. Like he's used to beating Nick Saban like, every other year or so. But so coming into a situation like that, it's tough, but you got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So I would say back to the fan reaction, because I'm going off tangent with that. So fan reaction at the time, it was like, oh, I can't believe he would. No, I can't believe. Yeah, fan reaction was, management ain't this. I can't believe, they, mishandled another player because, what I'm saying, this was in the wake of, DeAndre Hopkins getting traded away. Um, just and just before the Hopkins thing, the Texans seem to had a reputation of just not taking care of, their good players and just letting them walk away in free agency, letting them go to other teams and all this other stuff. So, now this was like the straw that broke the camel's. It seemed like it was the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of fans because it's like, I can't believe y'all are letting this happen after all these years it took to even find a quarterback. How could you let this happen? You know, and it was like that for a while up until those those sexual assault cases started pouring in. Like when those allegations started piling up, but even with the allegations, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is a witch hunt. They're just trying to ruin this man's career." And there's still some people that say that to this day, but it's not as much as it was back then. As the I'm saying cases started piling up and as things dragged along, a lot of people was just kind of getting weary of it. And so they were like, it went from I can't believe management as, screwed up to how can, Watson screw us? You know what I'm saying? And just go to another team. Like, what's wrong with him? Like, he should want to play for us. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So I think at this point, with through all of that, through the allegations, um, through the frustration of him not playing games, and just really trying to get off of the team and everything, and just not really saying anything about the whole situation. At this point, fans have been like, all right, we've had enough. Like, get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's really something that we're tired of dealing with this right now. It's time to go. You have to go. So yeah, I definitely think that the fan reaction went from one end of the spectrum to the other, and it's something that it's normal for fans to think that. I mean, look, yeah, he did say, he did indicate that he didn't like how management handled the situation. And to be honest with you, he's not telling no lies. Like I still think they should have let him have some input on the head coach. Like this is your franchise quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like he should have some type of say on like who becomes head coach, who becomes GM. I think you just give him that courtesy. You know what I'm saying? So that was just I mean that's a simple thing that you just could have did. Like you could have said like you can have input, but I'll have the final say. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing. But you know what I'm saying? At least let him have some type of opinion on who's going to be leading him and the rest of this team. That's just my opinion. And the Texans didn't do that, and so you know what I'm saying? It's some oversight that who knows what they'll do the next time around. So yeah. With that being said, the fan reaction is just going to be it's never it's not for it's never going to be for right now. It's always going to be Watson quit. That's just how they're going to see it because they're fans. They're loyal to the team, not a jersey number. You know what I'm saying? Like if he got cut or something like that, then it'll be like, oh, um, we we kind of we'll miss you, all this other stuff. We hate to see you go, and all this. They'll be on his side, but you know what I'm saying? Since he took it up on himself to kind of force his way out of the city, fans aren't gonna take it lightly. They're not gonna take it too kind. They're not gonna take too kind for that. So, um, compensation. So back to this trade. Compensation seems I'm pleased with the compensation. Three first rounders and I believe a third and a fourth round in exchange for Watson as well as a fifth rounder. So the three first rounders, that's been like the steady, consistent asking price this whole time. I think that yeah, yeah, that's been the steady asking price this whole time, completely. So, kudos to Casario for sticking to that. I saw quite a few. I saw a couple of people were tweeting like, "Oh, we should have got a second rounder. Oh, we should have got a couple of players." And as far as in regards to like the couple of young players and all this stuff, um, I know that was. like a lot of the scenario for the Panthers trade. I know a lot of you know a lot of Texans fans or media or Twitter media guys that were tweeting about this. Um, they were kind of saying like, hey, this trade with the Panthers has to go down because we want this player, we want J.C. Horn, we want Brian Burns, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? That was a real talking point. With whenever this trade would come about. Before this trade actually got executed, that the Panthers seem to have the best deal on the table because they can give us our 3 first-round picks and they can give us these young players that we can work with. So yeah, I could kind of see like why people would want younger players. Kind of reminds me of how Minka Fitzpatrick. Actually, I didn't even want to bring Minka Fitzpatrick up at part of my this part of my statement. I want to bring him up on the latter part, talking about the first round picks. Um, so what I meant to say, what I meant to say is, with the first round picks, we're going to get 6 of them in the next 3 years, and so that's I don't care who you are. The Rams, for a while they didn't even pick in the first round the last few years, and they won the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's surface logic to say like, oh, you get 6 round picks, you can just go build you 2 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to use those picks wisely, and not just with draft. You can use those, combine them for trading for other players. Trade for another player that might be forcing his way out of somewhere. It doesn't have to necessarily be a quarterback. It could definitely be a skill position player. Depending on how Davis Mills comes along or whatever quarterback we decide to go with. Well, they're going to definitely need some type of receiver to throw to. So um, definitely you know definitely save those in the tuck in the next few years if some wide receiver wants to like make his own exit or whatever. So um, yeah, I'm definitely cool with the conversation. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. So what I was going to say, uh, and why I did not drop that Minka Fitzpatrick point in there is, I was actually going to use him as an example, as one of the like younger players that what I'm saying you could actually probably trade for because that is what happened. I think he was in the second year with Miami, and he requested the trade because they were kind of going through their own rebuild or whatever they were trying to do, and so Pittsburgh traded for him. So hey, if in the next 2 or 3 years, somebody's ready to make a boat, a young player that we missed out on in the draft that's having a spectacular season, and he's just sitting over there on like the Jets or somebody, then hey, package those picks up. Let's go get them. Let's go to work. So, final thoughts. I'm trying to make this real quick. It's the end of a saga. Thank God. Texans fans mentally, we've been through a lot dealing with this. And even though like the storyline itself wasn't a huge distraction from the season, obviously there was a lot of other things going on the field, but um, it wasn't a big distraction. Things kind of let themselves play out. Watson wasn't all over Twitter a lot, as far as like posting and everything, any cryptic messages, while all of this was going on. At the beginning he was, but as the cases started, piling up, he just kind of fell back and didn't really add no fuel to the fire on any type of issue. So definitely it's finally over. We don't have to worry about where he's going or what we're getting back in exchange for him. He's where he wants to be. He's happy with his bread, and we're happy with our draft capital. And so that leads me to my next point. This is uh, fans should be ecstatic about what's to come next. I mean, yes, I'm gonna keep harping on this point about 6 first-round picks in the next 3 years. Like, they should be ecstatic because there are so many possibilities as to what you can do with those picks. Trade them, trade up, trade down. Give them away in exchange for another talent that's already an established talent that's already in the league. Um, definitely. Yeah, they should definitely be happy about what's to come next. I think Casario, he's did a good job so far. I'm not mad at anything that he's done. Um, so far. So this, I mean, he just finished his first year, second year coming up. We'll see what goes down with that. Um, my final thought. Ownership in the front office, they really need to examine how they handle players. Um, just how they handle top talent within the organization, and like there's always been criticism about this, about the franchise as far as like who's running the team. They even Bob McNair, he took some heat, for the little comments he made about prisoners running the jail yard and all that. But in addition to that, it's always been like some type of gripe with the front office, with ownership. Everybody's felt like ownership hasn't been serious about winning, and that's not, and even then, that's not something that's exclusive to the Texans. I've heard like fans say that about other Houston teams. Particularly, especially the Rockets. So, but the point I'm trying to make is, um, you know, uh, yeah, they should just kind of get a handle on things. Like this really could have went bad. Like so far, there's a lot of unknown left. Like we don't know, like what talent we're going to pick up, how these picks are going to be used, all this other stuff. How this young group that we drafted last season, how that eventually going to turn out and mesh within the next couple years. So it could have turned out it could have turned out really bad. It just so happens that Texans are kind of recovering nicely a little bit from this. It doesn't look like a disaster, a complete and utter disaster. It's a rebuild going on. So everybody's kind of managing their expectations. They're managing their expectations for Mills, how he's going to perform. Um, Lovey Smith, they're trying to, manage his expectations. And unfortunately, he lost a key member of his defense, Justin Reed, to free agency. So just managing to see like how he's going to formulate this defense and kind of get them competitive and help this team win more games. So that's all I got for this trade, man. I hope every reporter that actually covered this and did like some real digging in on this, whether it's local, especially local. You know what I'm saying, y'all? I salute y'all. I'm just some dude blogging about the Texans because I love this team and I love giving my opinion on this team. But man, the reporters, y'all did the real work. Shout out to y'all. Wish I could name all y'all, but I know I'm probably gonna forget somebody, so I ain't messing up nobody's names or anything like that. So, with that being said, man, congratulations, Texans fans. We made it through one saga. Let's go pour yourself a beer so we get ready for the next bull job, man. I'm Brandon Simmons for Brandon Simmons.biz. Holla black.